Hey guys, I'm in the shop today. I'm going to do a little maintenance on this Quincy 325 compressor. I've got a little bit of an issue here. I'm actually going to correct it right now. I've taken off the inspection cover and I've had a little tiny leak that's kind of worked its way around the cover. This one still had the old aluminum flat cover yet. It wasn't a newer style reinforced. And a couple years ago when I got this, I had cleaned out the crankcase, flattened out the cover, replaced the seal, laid out some RTV, a real thin film of RTV silicone, and after a couple of years of some pretty hard use, it started to leak a little bit again. So I just decided to order the new inspection cover, which I've already got, and I'll show you that in a second. But one other thing I was going to do too is, I don't know how well you can see it right there. Let me see if I can turn it a little bit. Right there. Oops, let me clean the lens here for a second. Let's try that. Right there you can see it looks to be like a plug. That plug actually has a hole in it. Somewhere, let me turn this a little bit more here. Somewhere along the line on the beginning of Quincy's building of these 325s, they had this option for what they call a spill valve, which to my understanding it's some type of a valve that's got a spring in it with a little plunger or piston, and nobody seems to really know what the purpose of it was. I contacted my Quincy distributor where I would get my parts from, and looking in the parts manual, it shows that this is, they call it a spill valve. It consists of 3 parts. The spill valve itself, a spring, and then the retainer plug. And then it said, there was a note there that said that spill valve would have to be indicated when ordering, otherwise it would come with just a plug. So I've actually ordered the plug, and I guess the reasoning behind this, the distributor had also recommended this, to replace this plug or this spill valve with the standard plug because of the age of the compressor, and I guess the thinking is that replacing the spill valve, that I will get actually more oil around the rear bearing here, because it actually, the way these compressors work, to my understanding, is they're pressure lubricated, which that much I know, but this crankshaft here is hollow. It actually has a vane in it that lubricates the automotive style or Babbitt bearings. And then can't see it there, but I think right there past the journal you can see a little kind of looks like a little plug. It actually has a hole, and it's an orifice, and what that does is that squirts oil on the sidewalls to run into the bearing. And I thought there was one some other place. I don't have a flashlight with me, of course, but otherwise I'll maybe get a flashlight here shortly. But anyways, the idea was to replace the spill valve to actually get more oil through the crankshaft to lubricate the bearings and get more oil to the rear, to the flywheel bearing. So that's the 2 projects for the day. I'm going to take out this plug and take out the spill valve and replace it with the plug. And that plug was like gold. I ordered it from the distributor. They didn't have it in stock. They ordered from Quincy. It was about 31 bucks, which that's what the inspection cover costs, around 31, 32 bucks. So I was a little shocked at first, but so I'm going to see if I can find a flashlight, kind of get a little better view. But overall, I'm really surprised. This is an ROC 13, built in 1975, and this looks to be in really good condition. When I had gotten it, the oil in the crankcase was really nasty, but alright, I'll see if I can find a flashlight here. Okay, just another thing here in passing. I did order actually last time I replaced the inspection cover, I had ordered a new gasket, and unfortunately this time now the gasket on the old cover is kind of cracked a little bit, so I'm just going to use the new one. And then the one other thing here is, those of you guys who know who Rotary Comtech is, I think he's down in Florida, I think. He did a whole series on rebuilding the number 325, and he also replaced his inspection plate cover not too long ago. This is the new style. As you can see, it's more beefy. It is the Quincy OEM part. And anyways, when you do this, you have to replace the bolts. The original bolts were 3/4 of an inch long. I want a 1/4 inch longer. It seemed to be 1 1/4 was too long because the holes in the crankcase are tapped but they're not tapped all the way through. So these should work. So I can do this one-handed. So yeah, we're going in about 3/8 of an inch into the crankcase. So, but anyways, I did not need the new dipstick. This I could use my existing dipstick. So that's the crankcase cover, or the inspection plate cover. And here is the gold. This is the plug. This is a solid plug. I think it's a 1/2 inch NPT. But I don't know, I suppose I could have looked around McMaster Car if I knew what I was looking for. I could maybe found one, but this is the genuine OEM part, so it should work. There should be no questions. So those are the 2 items I'm going to replace today. And then I don't know if I'm going to put the serial tag back in this one. You have to drill for them to replace them, but the problem is my serial tag claims it's an ROC 10, but the tank here actually says it's 1975 right here. 1975, made by Wessels. So that was one thing. And then the other thing is this one has the newer style unloader. The ROC 10 was still had the old bell tower style. So, and this is all original. The only thing I did recently was replace the diaphragm here because it was leaking a little bit. But I did video record that one, but I never posted because it seemed it was kind of lengthy for such a simple operation. So maybe I'll upload it, maybe I won't. But so yeah, and the crankshaft. I don't think I'll be able to see it, but no, we're not even gonna try. On the end of the crankshaft, on the flywheel end here, on the very end of the shaft, it's stamped 13. So, being the fact that it's got the new style unloader, the tank says it's 1975, it's all the same color. This is a Quincy color. So I believe that this is an true ROC 13. But why it has an inspection cover from ROC 10, I'm not sure. It may be that the original inspection cover had warped a little bit, and maybe the customer had replaced it, and maybe the ROC 10, 11, 12, and 13 were the same color. I can't get a real answer to that from anybody. So, but all I know is, like I said, it's got the new style head unloader. The tank is stamped 1975, and the crankshaft is stamped 13. So, I truly believe that this is an ROC 13, and the ROC 13 was done in the 1974, I think, to 76 period. So versus ROC 10 was 1969. So, anyways, I'm gonna find a flashlight, dig around that crankcase a little bit more. All right. Okay, so let's turn this a little bit. There we go. That is a spill valve, and I don't even think the new ones have this anymore. I don't even know what the whole reason was. And I think it could also be the same reason why mine unloads so quick, because literally once mine is like the second it's like not even sometimes before it's done coasting down, it'll actually unload right away. So it's done that from new on, but actually talking, like I said, with the Quincy distributor, they actually recommended removing this and replacing it with the plug. Supposed to help get more oil to the rear bearing there. So, because obviously that's where a lot of the stress is at. But this one could have been rebuilt. They see there's some marks on the journals. Oops. Yep. Possibly. Don't know the whole history. Like I said, I got this thing used, obviously, and it was in kind of rough shape. You can see the oil is actually in pretty clean condition. I scraped a lot of gunk out of that crankcase, but overall, see if I can tip the camera up here a little bit. You can see the cylinder walls just by looking at it this way, they actually look really clean. So, oops. So, yeah, I have to say I think I got lucky. But then again, these things run forever for the most part. So, hey, the oil's still semi-transparent yet. Just changed this a few months ago. But, alright, well, unfortunately, I'm kind of in a confined, tight corner here, so I'm not going to be able to hold the video camera or set up the tripod to take this plug out, so I will show you once I get it out. Alright. Okay, so here's what the spill valve is. It's like a little plunger of some sort with a spring, and then this plug with a hole in it. And I'm thinking it's possibly supposed to act like some type of a pressure release. I'm not 100% for sure. The service manager I talked to at the Quincy distributor, they weren't even sure what it was supposed to do, because to my understanding it sounds like the new ones don't have it. I was watching Rotary Comtech's rebuilding series of his 325, and I don't even think I saw the spill valve in his, and he's got a ROC 18. I think that's from like 84 or 88 or something like that, somewhere around there, 89. Anyways, the recommendation was in this older unit was to replace the spill valve with the plug. And somewhere around here I've got the plug. So here is the plug. Let me open this up. So there is the replacement. So like I said, even in the parts manual, it said that the spill valve would need to be specified during ordering. Otherwise, to use this plug, and this plug they called it a 1/2-inch NPT. But like I said, if I probably would have known what I was looking for, I could have maybe found something on McMaster-Carr or Granger, but I don't know if it would have been a whole lot cheaper, because this is a, kind of a precision machine piece. So, but yeah, so that goes in. Grab my flashlight here. It's funny, I got one of the better camcorders, and it doesn't have a interior light. So that goes in that hole right there. And I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not. Let's turn it a little bit. There we go. This don't fit very nice. What do we got going on here? The other one just came out so nice. Don't tell me they got this fucking thing machined, screwed up. Oh, I think they do. If I have to put that fucking spill valve back in, I'm gonna be pissed. So that means I gotta buy a new gasket. Alright, I gotta put the camera down. Okay, I see, if only the camera could see, that the thread is slightly dinged right there, but I should be able to turn it in. So, I get it started, so, but looks to be it was damaged from shipping or being tossed around in Quincy's bin, I don't know, but we're gonna give it a shot. Alright, cross your fingers. Sorry for the camera moving around here, but I'm trying to see what I'm doing here. This just ain't working holding the camera, but alright, just want to let you know that I'll show you when it's all done here. Okay, you can see I got the replacement plug-in. It's actually item number 28 on the ROC 13 parts manual. I think the part number is a 6883 is the Quincy part number. But so that's in good. Crankcase, as I showed you earlier, looks really good. The screen actually looks very clean compared to what it was. Oops. Why am I so close? There we go. I'm shaking today. Anyways, so yeah, everything looks really good. I did show you the cylinder walls before, so everything looks good. I'm going to drive over to my brother's shop, and he's got a gasket scraper so I can clean off this RTV from the last time. And I've already taken the time to paint the cover, which doesn't match very well. I thought I picked up a color that was really close. It actually turned out to be that obviously the plastic cover on the I'll show it to you here. The plastic cover on the that ain't even it. What did I do with the plastic cover? Oh, here it is. This is the plastic cover, and turned out to be, it was really gold when I was done. So I ended up using the previous paint I had bought when I made the mounting strip for the magnetic starter. So I was not going to pay to have Automotive Store match some automotive paint and spray this out. I just wanted to paint it something close. So this was the color I ended up using. I was hoping it was going to be closer to this, but it's actually, this is the paint going on the can is much more gold. So I tried blending the two, and yeah, it didn't work all that well. So alright, I'm going to go to my brother and get a gasket scraper from him. I'm going to clean off the surface here, get all this previous RTV layer off. Actually, it's not bad, but we're going to clean it up anyways, do it properly, as long as I get it open. And put it back together and fire it up. Alright, be back. Okay, this is going to be a two-handed operation. Sorry guys, but I'll show you when it's all said and done. Okay, so I finished scraping it with the, basically it was like a heavy-duty putty knife, but it was actually just a different style gasket scraper that I've seen. That's my brother gave me for this. And I've just taken the time to take some carb cleaner and clean off all the surfaces. And the next thing I'm going to do now is lay a real thin film with some high-temp RTV silicone, both on this surface and then on the mating surface of the new inspection cover on this side here. And then I'll stick the new gasket to it, and I got the longer bolts, and we'll put it together. So, alright. Okay, so here's a little trick I learned from Rotary Comtech when he replaced his cover. Just smear a real thin film or bead on the cover, and then also just a real tiny bead on the crankcase. Just kind of move it around a little bit, not much, and then pull it off. And that's really all you need, because I am replacing the gasket here as well. So that's the next step. I'm going to put the new gasket on here. Hold on. Alright, after a little fussing, I got all the bolts in and the gasket lined up, and I'm just going to go around and tighten each one just a little bit, just like you would with a rim on a vehicle. Go around and tighten each one up a little bit to get even pressure all the way around. And I have to say, this is hard to do holding a camera looking through the viewfinder. And get them good and snug. That RTV silicone should not have smeared out all over the place, because I just had a real thin film around the outside rib. There's a rib on the plate. I don't know if you saw that, but I did the RTV just more as added protection. I shouldn't have had to, because this is a new style inspection cover. I did it on the old one because it had a tendency to warp, and I wanted a little added protection to help it seal up. But it lasted for a little while, and I could have hammered it again and done the same thing, but I thought, you know what, it's probably just a better idea to go to the new style. These are getting pretty tight. All I'm doing now is compressing the gasket, basically. All right. I'll put the dipstick in. You can see here this one also had a little rib. That's what I was talking about. So I got the RTV on the outside of that. Pull the dipstick out. Wipe it off. And I'm going to make sure that it said I shouldn't need a new dipstick, so still reading the oil level correctly. That's good. Alright, I'm going to spin this thing over freehand first, make sure that nothing catches. Okay, let's get rid of the bolts. These are the shorter bolts. These are only 3/4 of an inch long. Alright, I guess I need to bleed some air off first, but let me turn the disconnect back on. And I will go bleed some air and we'll come back. Alright. Okay, we're a little under 120, so she should start and pop right off. I'm going to watch the oil pressure gauge here. Oh, okay, here we go. That's what I suspected. That's not a bad thing by no means, but that is why my compressor always unloaded right away. That spill valve was actually dumping the oil pressure right away, which is also why it was taking longer for it to pick up oil prime. Yep, it still bleeds off a little faster than some of the other ones, but I had this unloader tower part here replace the diaphragm. The diaphragm was cracked up, and I did look at the whole assembly, and it's really free and clean. You can actually push it down with your finger pressure. Obviously you have to push down really hard, but it moves really free. So but I know some of them out there I've heard in the past, they don't load quite as quick. But this one here, like I said, it's unloaded pretty much right away, almost as it was coasting down. So this one here, if you watch the flywheel, here we go. Yep, she takes a little bit more to unload. So it might have been that the spring in that spill valve was bad too, but like I said, it was recommended by the distributor to replace that spill valve with the plug, so that way you get more oil to the rear bearing, which I'm not exactly sure as far as why, because the way I understood, or the way it looked like spill valve worked, it looked to be that it was kind of like a check valve to relieve oil pressure possibly, but I don't know as far as how it's supposed to help get more oil back to the rear bearing, which is also reminds me that they wanted me to run at about 20 psi. So to do that, you just take this knob here and you turn it clockwise in, and then tighten up this jam nut. So, yeah, and also, and I didn't get a chance to really look at it or show you guys, but in the crankshaft as well, there is a tapped hole that could have an orifice in it, but it's supposed to have a plug. And according to the owner's manual I got, it automatically had a plug from the factory, so there should be no oil shooting this way to this bearing. It's more so they want the oil pressure to hit the two journal bearings, and then they hit the rear bearing, because as you saw, that rear bearing is exposed. So the whole idea, to my understanding, even though when you look at it, it's not actually squirting into the bearing, it looks to be it's covering the whole back wall of the crankcase, and it must be running down into the bearing, is my understanding. So anyways, that's it for this project, guys. It was not painstaking by no means. I wouldn't want to do it every day, but you know, it went pretty quick, and for not really having the right tools and everything, I still got it done, and obviously I had to take the whole thing apart. So alright, we'll let it run on out, and that'll be the end of the video. Alright, thanks for watching. One last thing here. Oh, that felt good. Gasket scraper. It's a dirty job. Yep, that'll help. Alright, thanks for watching.